Hello, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for joining. We're going to give it just a few seconds to let people come on in, and then we will get started. I'm going to go through, while we're giving it a few minutes, just a couple little housekeeping items. So you should have a Q&A box down below. And so if, as we're going through the session today, you have any questions that you would like answered, you can drop it into that Q&A box, and we'll make sure that we are able to answer any questions that you may have while we're going through. This session is being recorded, so if you would like to watch it back, it will show up in your email inbox after the session ends. And if you registered but you're not here right now, you'll also get a copy of this webinar as well. All right. Well, thank you all for joining and being here this morning. We are talking about the Salon scorecard, which is benchmarking your way to success. And so this is first session of 3 this week. We will be back again tomorrow morning at the same time, and we'll be back on Wednesday morning, also at the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. And so over these next 3 days, we're going to be discussing salon benchmarks, and we're going to be talking to 3 different salon owners who are excelling in a lot of these benchmarks in areas that you are going to want to hear about. So along with other point of sale companies in our salon industry, we are contributing into data that we're going to be talking about that's providing real-time salon benchmarks so that you can see how your salon business is comparing to the industry averages and within the salon of your size, so different size categories, which is really great to see where you fall into. You can sign up to receive these reports yourself by going to saloninteractive.com. This report is powered by Salon Interactive, and we're all contributing into it. So without further ado, today we are going to be talking to Stephen Bentley, and he is the founder of Apotheca Salon and Barbershop in Austin, Texas. So, Stephen, do you want to come on up? Hello.
Hi.
So everybody meet Stephen. We're going to be talking about Stephen's story today and how he drives 5-star reviews. He received 541 Google business reviews. Huge, like that's so exciting. He also saw, and the metrics that we're talking about today are for February. So just so everybody knows, this is pretty real time. This isn't like last year, last quarter. This is last month. He saw 153 new clients last month, and we're going to be talking about how he's exceeding a lot of these benchmarks. So 153 new clients, you guys, like who doesn't want to see 153 new clients? I know a lot of salons that only see 153 clients total throughout the month, let alone new clients. So excited to have this conversation with you, Stephen, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm super excited. Yay, what an intro.
Yay. Okay, so can you get us started? Just tell everybody about yourself, about your salon, how it got started.
Yeah, so I'm in Austin, and I left my commission job in the fall of 2019, September of 2019, to go out on my own and start a salon. And I had been teaching for Aveda for about a decade at that point. And I turned my little LLC I had for teaching on the road into a booth renting business so I could qualify for my SBA loan, and got all my little ducks in a row to start opening my salon. And then we had a little pandemic that happened. I literally put in my first loan application the Friday before lockdown. And I was going through some housing and urban development money through the city of Austin, which was a low interest rate loan. So all of that obviously was like immediately redirected to COVID relief. So I kept chugging along, renting a chair and a little combination of late 20s ego with ambition kept me going. And we opened in the fall, October of 2021, in a temporary location that my broker managed because ours ran about a year behind because of construction delays due to COVID. And we smelled like curry for the first year and had a shampoo bowl in a closet. And through that, yeah, we have our big, beautiful salon now. It's gone through three remodels in 3 years just because of the amount of growth we've had. We've gone from 5 to 15 stylists. Yeah. And from doing about 20,000 a month to now about 90,000 a month this month.
Okay, so the word that I got from that was resilience. Like, how about that? You know what I mean? Like hanging in there through a small pandemic. And I know you're not alone. There's other salon owners that, went through similar experiences. And I've talked to other salon owners who started during that time. And it takes dedication and resilience to make it through, and not make it through, but make it through and grow through it. Like what you're doing is incredible. So congratulations to you, and got us here to this conversation to share the successes that you're having with other salon owners and what you're doing. So when you went through all that transition, you also joined Aura Salonware. So how did you find Aura? Why did you decide to join Aura and use Aura for your salon software management?
It was because I really wanted to be like a hybrid deskless role and really have guest services like a concierge in a nice 5-star hotel, but not have their experience be like based on client transactions and things like that. It's more for caring for the guests, caring for the stylists, and that is something that remains true today. And our service wheel and our checkout experience has greatly expanded from where we started with a pretty deskless model to where we are now with a call center that is hosted by moms who work from home and of a few full-time front desk employees that really work on retailing, pre-booking, and making sure the salon and the guests are taken care of. So it was that. And then what has really kept us with Aura is that Aura is always willing to grow where the clients want it to grow, and like really does take feedback. Like, for one, we're the people who ask for their guests to be able to choose their pronouns whenever they set up their profile, and that was something that was done within like 2 months. Like, who else does that? And then the three-way texting, like the two-way texting built into the software between my front desk, my staff, and the stylist, and then also our call center that's not in the salon, that they can also be texting within that. It makes a really nice, seamless transition.
That. And your salon is very like hospitality mindset driven and forward thinking of like deskless. Like opening your salon in a deskless type of business is a very forward, thoughtful salon concept. So love to dig into that a little bit more. Once you got through the pandemic, you got your business and things were going, you had this little identity, of like things maybe are not going as well. So like, what did that look like to you? Like, what sort of moment did you have when you were like, I need to do something different?
So I'm sure we've all seen those TikToks that are like the DIY gays. That's like, why I think I can do that. That's me. So during my build out, I became a general contractor licensed to finish the build out after having money stolen by 2 contractors. Mm-hmm. And that kind of, like you said, resilience just stayed with me. So we had just celebrated our first year in October, and we were in our space for like 3 months. It was January, and we had a freeze in Austin, and Austin is not prepared for cold weather. And so that means the city shut down for a week. And I was sitting there, and I couldn't pay rent, and I couldn't pay payroll, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And all my lines of credits were maxed out. And I've always been the hairdresser. Like, if I can't make money, I know how to make money doing hair and making it work. And I was like, well, this is time for a change. I was like, if you can't make money in your salon, you have to learn how to make money from home. And guerrilla marketing was not working. And it was so much time and it was so much energy. And so I got on Coursera and I started doing SEO classes, and they were all done by Google. Google now sees the profit margin in teaching the DIY entrepreneurs how to master their algorithm. I started reading the EEAT guidelines. I'm a nerd. I've always been a math and science nerd. Excel's my friend. And so from there, I just started learning, and I did some e-learning. I wasn't looking for a certificate, so I did the homework as my website. I started doing a lot of learning about AI. So, I wrote my website's SEO for a human-based search engine or AI-based search engine 2 years ago, which people are updating for now. So it's cool, and I learned, and we saw some pretty big growth from that pretty immediately, and it's what really continues to power us today. Is our new guests and what we do on Google.
It felt like the world was kind of stacked against you at a time. Like started during a small pandemic, then a freeze in Austin that never would happen, right? And then realizing making money outside of your salon chair and how to drive that. And now you have the ability to help your service providers and other salons learn a lot of these tools and things that they can do to be successful also. Okay, I want to share some of the benchmarks, since this is the theme of these next 3 days of these benchmark metrics. So let me share this and just kind of show you. There's 3 metrics that I want to show everybody that are pretty impactful. Can you see this? Can you see my screen okay? Okay, so there are 3 things on here. The top one is average revenue. And what you're going to see is for the month of February. So again, this is just last month. And then the 1 to 2 stylists, 3 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 19, and 20 plus are the number of providers in a salon. So just right off the bat, 10 to 19 service providers, average revenue is at 59,114. And so for everybody following along, find yourself in these categories. Where are you, and what did your business do last month compared to what this average looks like? Average is the second one here. Same thing, number of providers in the salon. So Stefan, for yours, 10 to 19 service providers. The average product sold was 171 products sold. And then the one on the bottom right, average number of clients that you saw for the month of February, 10 to 19 service providers or stylists at 449, call that 450 clients for the month of February. So let me just call out Stefan's success here. His actual revenue was 13% higher than this average. His product sold is 40% higher than this average, and his number of clients is 22% higher than this average. Yay, kudos to you. This is incredible. So everybody take a screenshot, write down the numbers, see where you stand in these 3 areas. We are thankful for Salon Interactive for putting together this key industry metrics report for us so that we can follow through, provide this for salons to be able to benchmark their own successes. Again, it's saloninteractive.com, where you can sign up for your own reports and get this metrics out for yourself. So with these metrics, Stefan, there were a few other things. Well, let me pull back my screen here. There were a few other things that stood out to me. Is what we talked about is sort of like your reviews. Like I said, you saw 153 new clients last month, 541 Google business reviews, and you had 30 5-star reviews and 1 4-star review. So that person had a bad day or something. So how are you doing that? Obviously, you talked about some SEO and you learned that through Coursera and whatnot, but like what is the behaviors in the salon that you're getting to drive that? Because what's happening is you're getting a new client, you're getting them to post reviews on you, which is driving that new client number up, which is driving your average revenue up because you're seeing so many new clients. So like it all is like a domino effect of everything that you're doing. That action has a reaction kind of thing. And gets you to the results that you're at. So what are you doing?
Yeah, so Google, like I said, is where we found our success, and reviews is where we found that success. So in my exploring on Google, and if we play the match game and Google's looking for a date, uh Google sees paid content as like a 5. So it's not good, it's not bad, it's there. And organic content is like a 7 to it. Organic content with a photo is a 9, and then organic content with a photo that interacts often with the app is a 10 plus. So, and it took me a long time to kind of figure that math out, but really what we use is organic reviews to push out our paid. So, and you can see if you scan the QR code, some metrics that takes you from 2022 to today on our website. We saw in our first month of focusing on Google reviews a double in the amount of new guests. And then from there, we have grown that number. And 155 is actually a lower than our average month for us. So, what we do is we have all of these new guests coming in, and we've worked into part of our service wheel asking for a review and having the after photos taken before the review that we use the text platform in Aura to send to the guests, inviting them to upload it with their review. And then they do that all while the retail is being added to the ticket so that it works as part of our service wheel. And then the guest takes home a free premium sample travel size product of Aveda. And the stylist gets a review. We also coach the guest to leave the service provider's name and the service that they receive so that our stylists can curate their ideal clientele. They love doing blonde highlights. The more blonde highlights they have on there, the more blonde highlights they get. And the thing is, they know this now. So in meetings, we can talk about, hey, Megan saw a 36% increase in visits to their page on our website because she got 5 reviews that say her name last month. So I'll go even as far as saying the new way to hand out your business card is to get a review with your name on it. Because if you hand out your business card to every single client, you give every single client 3 business cards, you might see 3 of those cards next month. But if you get 5 clients to leave a review with your name on Google and you have a good SEO game and you know that you're getting 20,000 impressions a month, 20,000 people are seeing your name for your favorite service that you like to do. So not only does it put clients with people that they're going to automatically mesh well with, but it allows our my providers to build the clientele that they want in their chair. Like my Marissa, sweet alternative stylist to me, had 4 color transformations, like 6-hour transformations last week. Like, and that's their ideal clientele who can book 4 to $600 colors in a week. That's vivid fashion colors. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah. The client experience journey is something that I feel very strongly about and have a lot of passion for. And I'm going to be talking about it at Data Driven next month, which you'll be at also. But how to enhance your revenue through the client experience and that client journey is way more impactful, right? So like, how do you actually bring money in from that? And what you're doing really starts from, like you mentioned, SEO, because new clients, they're discovering you somehow. And it's by looking through Google, and they're doing a Google search for top salon near me, or best extensions near me, or textured hair near me. And they're finding your business because you have so many 5-star reviews. The other thing that I noticed that you're doing really well, Stefan, is you're responding to all of these reviews. Like if you look at your Google page, there's a response on almost every single review that's left. Not bad responses, but like positive responses. When somebody says, I loved my visit, you respond and say thank you, and let them know that you saw that review. There's a statistic out that let me share it. It's 89% of consumers or customers are likely or highly likely to use a business that responds to all of reviews, right? One, that's huge, 89%. are likely to use your salon because you respond to those reviews. And 56% have changed their opinion based on a company's response. So that's to say, maybe somebody left you a 3-star and things were just okay. They put that on a review and you responded. They're 56% likely to go back and change that review and give you a more positive review just because you responded. That is huge. That's incredible.
So Google tracks everything. And so you're scored by Google. And the thing is to use things to raise your score. So use organic reviews and credibility to raise your score so your pay goes out further. And with that, they're tracking how quickly, how often you're answering the phone, how quickly and how often you're responding to emails, how quickly and often you're responding to reviews. And that all goes into your ranking. And so, like you said, the positive reviews are great to respond to. But I think the more impactful ones are the negative reviews. Not that we have many, but we do have some. And I invite you to go read how I've responded to them. There's a really funny one where I kind of had too much of someone recently. And these are the areas where you can reclaim the narrative. And so, like, I really invite you to think of, at this point, you've probably already talked to this person. You're probably, like, Aura sends out the reviews that they get via text, so you probably already know they're pissed. You probably already talked to them. It probably didn't go well, and you're probably not going to work it out with them. So the response to the review is not a response to that customer. It's a response to every other single person who is going to see the 1-star review and definitely look to see how you responded. And it's a place for you to tell your side of the story and tell your narrative, and a place for you to regain that potential customer.
Really great perspective, because those negative reviews are a really great spot to be defensive and like defend your business and the provider and like put the blame on the client and all those things. But you're right, it's not for them. It's for everybody else and all those other future clients that are considering to come into your salon. Okay, so you mentioned that Aura's sending you the text, showing you the review. For people that are listening or watching today that maybe they're using Aura but not using that feature, or maybe we have future clients of Aura, or the salons of Aura that are not using this feature at all. Can you sort of talk through what this looks like? How does Aura show you these reviews? Because you also have these reviews on your website, which are coming from, so like, how do you avoid that negative review being put on your website?
So yes, and so the text feature is probably my favorite feature of Aura. It allows everybody to communicate, but you can set up where just like whenever they get checked out, they get a little text like, "Hey, how was your experience today?" And then they can put in comments after they rank it from 1 to 5 stars. So anything 4 or 5 stars goes into the positive category. Anything that's 1 to 3 stars, or it doesn't show in the widget, and they send a little email to me and my manager going, "Hey, got not such a great review, you may want to handle this." So we go and we just reach out to the customer and we take it from there. Like, "Hey, we saw you had not a great experience," and invest more into it and see what we can do. And this really helps us to be able to manage so many of those negative interactions before it ever gets escalated to Google. Because really what those people are, 9 out of 10 of those people are just looking for an avenue to be heard. So it's giving them that immediate avenue to be heard without feeling awkward saying something to the stylist, or to even call. Some people now aren't comfortable with that. We have so many people who, I'm sure I have a lot of salon owners on here who, what Gen Zer has great communication skills? 0%. And it's because like they never worked to form that muscle in their formative years. In their entire life, their primary mode of communication has been nonverbal communication on their phone. So they're more comfortable, sending a text message than having a face-to-face or even a phone conversation. So if we can meet them where they are And if we can meet them before it goes to Google and we can handle it internally, it's great. And it's the preferred outcome for everybody. And it also goes back into what you're saying about the experience. So, our prices are a lot higher than whenever we started, and we've gone from a la carte to absolutely zero add-ons. And we changed and elevated our service experience with that. So, whenever people are greeted, they are greeted with a smile, and we have a signature cocktail list and mocktail list every season. We have sneaky snacks, they pick an aroma. We have a couple different lounge spaces. We have the heated neck wraps. It's just every little detail to make somebody feel cared for, because as we really look at your millennial workforce and your my ideal clientele is your six-figure millennials without children, because they're spending their money on themselves. They spend money on extensions, fillers, facial. And so this is such an experience driven demographic. So the more you can give them to make them feel pampered and have a step away from their life and a moment of relaxation and something that typically could be mundane or even stressful, the more you're going to boost the guests to come back in, because they want that experience and that retreat from their stressful life.
Mm-hmm. We have two questions that I want to share. The first one, and I think we're kind of answering these as we go too, but what are the most effective ways for asking for a review? So like, yes, it goes out to the customers, but like, what are the actual ways that you are asking clients, like, hey, would you
Yeah.
leave us a review? And the other second piece to that question is, I think that there's some review etiquette, right? Like if you're doing a three process, color journey, like it's going to take you 3 visits to get the outcome that you're looking for. I maybe wouldn't ask for the review after the first one, but maybe after the completed service. So like, what is your take on review etiquette, and what are the ways that you are asking for a review?
So whenever you go to your Google My Business profile, which is just search for your salon name on Google whenever you're signed in with the same email that you use for the salon's email or Google My Business. And then you'll be able to see on there a thing that says get more reviews, and there's a link. Copy and paste that link into a QR generator, and then create a QR code. Put that QR code up by where your guests check out, or at the stylist station, both, wherever you want. We partner with Aveda, and Aveda does this really great program called Premium Samples. So we can order travel sizes for $2 a piece instead of $7, which is what we order for selling them. And so we put those in vases, and they're up in front. And I like to compare it to a Halloween basket for luxury hair care for your guests. And so their checkout experience looks like this. Whenever they come back to the chair, they get to get their hair styled. Their stylist stops by, picks up their products. They grab a card, they fill out the products they're recommending, and then they just set that on their trolley. So they're doing the finish out. The concierge member is going to come by. They're going to wait for them to pause. They're going to check in and take care of that pre-book with an iPad. And then they're going to pick up that sheet and then go, and they're going to ask what service they provided that day, just to make sure it is the correct one. And then they're going to go pick up all of the products that they recommend on that sheet, put them in a basket. They're going to record them all to the guest's profile. And then they're also going to update the color allotment and the service with Vish to make sure that that's all taken care of. And then they're going to simply just drop that product basket back off. Thank you, Sean. So then whenever the service provider takes them up to check out, and our checkout station's literally across from retail, they just take that basket with them. They take their after photos. They ask them what they would like to start with today, and they let them know that everything's been recorded to their file. And then they let them know, and they go, okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and get your ticket updated. If you want to scan this QR code, you can leave us a review or update your review with your photo. You can take one of these samples home today. And they just update the ticket. The client does their phone and does the review, and then they do the flip screen and let them check out. And they're like, great, I'll see you at whatever time they had already pre-booked. So it's literally just working it into it. And so
Yeah.
whenever they do that, they're like, if you will just include my name. That's the one thing I forgot
Mm.
to say is they say my name in the service you got. And another thing that I think is really cute that I've seen some of them do is they'll start doing like cute candid like selfies with their customers. And then whenever those pop up in the reviews, they just like, of course you want to see that person.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's a take on gift with purchase, but it's like gift with review.
Yeah.
You get a free gift with giving the review, and you're making it a part of the checkout experience. So
Yeah. And we still do gift with their first service.
purchase.
So that's we do sample sizes of products. So we currently are doing the Invali line, and we do the sample sizes instead of the premium sample. So they're a little bit smaller, a little bit cheaper. So I can give them some like 3 of our best sellers because there's higher chance of them coming in to purchase if they get to try 3 of my highest selling SKUs.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also has what we call an experience card, and it has different discounts on non-hair related services, so like our head spa services or waxing services, so that it really, or makeup services, it drives that hair customer to the other things that we offer in the salon as well.
So just to, in case we had some people join before we get into all of this, I just want to recap really quickly that we're talking about the average benchmark or industry metrics for the month of February. And Stefan, your salon, for average, your actual revenue, like dollars of revenue, your number of products and retail sold, and the number of clients that you saw for the month exceeded the average industry metrics by 13, 40, and 22%. So what we're saying, or what you're saying, is that the experience that your clients are going through, the experience that you're providing them while they're in the salon, are leading them to buy more products because it's a part of the checkout service. You're offering these wonderful scalp spa service treatments that they may not have before, and you're asking for reviews. And in return, when new clients, because you had over 125, I think I said something like that, new clients last month, they're coming to you because they're seeing the reviews on your Google website. And then once they get to Google and they see those, they're clicking on your actual website. And when they look at your actual website, they see more reviews that are all positive 4 or 5-star reviews. In addition to, if anybody's looking at your website, you have a variety of services, including things like all-inclusive services, which is what I think you touched on a little bit a second ago, but texture services, waxing services, extensions. So like, you're not excluding anybody here.
No, I mean, uh, being the I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this. Being the plus size gay kid in a rural town of 200 people growing up my whole life, I'm pretty into inclusivity growing up without it. So that is really one of the things that I wanted to brand my team towards, is having a safe home for everybody. We really have a lot of trans community people who come into our salon. We have a lot of, people of every single color, people who need a little bit more private space because maybe they wear a hijab and can't be seen by men without their hijab on. And we can, offer that safe space to everybody. And, I think whenever you have integrity in that, then you can sell your package prices as all inclusive prices, and it speaks more to your mission, and you're bundling up your profit margin and your ethics, which is kind of nice. But yes, all inclusive, I would love to talk about that. So we've all heard, I hope, of right price, right time, and time-based pricing, and it is absolutely how you should be doing your books. The problem with that, or the challenge I found around that, is teaching your clientele a new language whenever they don't know that. What is a custom color 3 hours? What is a custom blonding, blah, blah, blah. They don't know. It's not user friendly to book online. If you're going dustless, you need them to be able to book online. And so it's taking the services you offer and the services they know how to book, and looking at the time that's invested in that and looking at the price that's invested in that, and really having cohesive price structures based on that time and product that meet the guest needs, and removing that option. The end of the day, no stylist is going to care about your salon as much as you do. No stylist is going to care about you not going bankrupt as much as you do. So you need to take that power. And so we started very a la carte because I was a fucking great a la carte stylist. But not all my stylists are. So I learned by removing their need to sell, I was ensuring my profit and margin. And then so I went all inclusive first with our lightning services, and we raised our price point by $100 for all of our highlight services and balayage services. And there is no way I would have ever done that if I did not have close to 200 new clients coming in new every single month, because I knew I could take the people who would drop off. The ones who drop off are the people you probably fight with the most, that are the ones who always buy your Black Friday gift cards for the year and then want you to send the balance to them every single time you see them. So say goodbye to those Ritas and say hello to your new amazing clients, and be okay with letting some people go because it makes space for the future. But we started with our lightning services, and we did that last July. And so all of our highlights include a toner and a treatment. And all of our balayages include tipping, toner, treatment, and root shadow. And it's based on the time that goes into that. And then this last month, March, we ripped off the Band-Aid and did it with our new gross all over colors and haircut services. So this one we raised for 15 minutes of time based on the time that was included in that service, and for the color services, the product that was included in that service. So the lowest it raised on haircuts was $10 at our base level, and the highest it raised was $20 on haircuts, and then the lowest it raised on color services, I think, was $20, and the highest was $40. But this is projected to show a 474% increase over what our treatment sales were the previous quarter. So if 10 to 20 for most people that's not a mentor's price increase means I'm going to make 474% more than them selling the treatments themselves, hell yes, every day. And so with our cut guests, they can actually, all of our colors get a bond building treatment, but our cut guests, they get to choose between a scalp treatment, a moisture treatment, a bond building treatment, or an express facial. And the express facial allows us to really lead into selling our skincare, which we have on our shelves. And then we also do a value added service where they can choose a cooling eye treatment, extended head massage, hand massage, or makeup touch up, which helps us with selling body care and makeup. But I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought before that.
No, that's okay. What I think you're going into is like the all inclusivity of the
Yeah,
service.
yeah.
Instead of saying like, do you want to add this on? Do you want to add this on? There's no like upsell. And what something that you mentioned earlier is removing that selling fear from your team, because I think that is pretty common, right? Where people have that fear of having to make a sale. They're not salespeople, but yes, they are, but they're not, right? Where when you say this is included, and then to your client, they're not feeling like they're being sold something extra. So then they feel like, okay, I can buy the product because they didn't, this was what I was expecting to pay anyways. And then they purchase the product, which could also lead to your increase in products sold.
And then that was definitely where I was headed with that. And so I learned that works so well, and I kept expanding that. And then I was like, great, so now the only thing they have to do is sell products. Well, they still sucked at selling products, and that didn't work. So I found that, having two concierges that I could teach to make really good salespeople and then bonus them based on the entire salon's sales margin made so much more sense and made it so much easier. And then you just go to the stylist, and I'm still paying them, up to 15 at sliding scale, 5 to 15. And I'm like, look at how much more money you're making. Like, don't you
Mhm.
love this? And so it's
Mhm.
just, removing, reallocating parts of the service and different service providers' roles and positions,
Mhm.
and
I
just
want to
kind of breaking
highlight
up.
two things I want to highlight because earlier, just to clarify for some people, you are a deskless salon,
Mhm.
but you're mentioning concierge. So you're not necessarily, even though you're removing the front desk, you're not really removing people. You
No,
are
I
just
still have a front desk too. It's just really small.
yeah, you're just repurposing the position essentially, right? And something that pairs with that you also mentioned earlier that I love is the basket. They fill this basket with some items, they carry it to the front desk. That's part of the experience. You experience that when you walk into certain retail stores, they give you the basket or whatnot, or they'll carry it up front for you. And that is part of that customer journey and that
Yeah,
experience and the things that are contributing to the expectation for that customer that these are the products that are going to pair with the service that I just received and potentially are taking that home with them, hopefully.
absolutely. Do you know why we put a piece of tissue paper in the bag with all of our retail products?
What store does that?
Tiffany's.
Yeah. And it gives them,
Yeah.
it has like a luxury feel to it, right?
Yeah.
Like that, and you
Yeah.
carry it around for them
Mhm.
and you hand it to them. Yeah, there's something about that that people feel luxury for, which
Yeah.
is okay. So what percentage would you say of people are versus are not leaving a review for your business?
Well, you mentioned we got, I don't know if this was on camera before, but I think it was 32 to 35 Google reviews last month. And
Mhm.
that was a
31 in
31.
February. Yep.
Yeah. And 28-day month, probably 14 working days, 16 working days, somewhere in there. Not a big month for us. So it's really having that review cycle be part of it because Google really ranks you so much based on your credibility. And that's also so much of our online presence of what you're looking for as a new customer is credibility. So the more organic reviews you get, the more credibility Google thinks you have. So the higher they're going to rank you. And so what we started doing in the beginning was like these popcorn campaigns. So once a quarter, we would do like a review campaign. And that was fine for a quarter. But what I learned is by getting 3 or 4 reviews every single week, it tells Google this person has credibility every single week. And then something else we do is putting everything we put on social media on our Google My Business photos. So, and that includes pictures of the team, pictures of inside the salon, pictures of the products, pictures of the signature cocktail of the month. It's creating that experience the guest has visited your salon from your online presence. And so really what you talked about with it being linked together is I think of Instagram, Google, and your website as a wheel, and it's a wheel of credibility. And the more credibility we can create for the consumer within this wheel, the more chance we have to book them and the more opportunities we want to book them. So they find me on Google. They find me from a Google My Business ad that I'm using AI for that Mad Libs together the keyword that they searched with, the service they searched with, and a promotion. And that gets them, they see me on Google and they're going to see photos of my team, photos of the inside of my salon. They're going to see 500 plus 5-star reviews. They're going to see a really cool promo. That's going to take them over to my website. They're going to see right on the homepage of there, you see the Aura reviews, more 5-star reviews that are different from the reviews they've already seen. And then below that, there's pictures of my stylist's work. And so they're seeing more credibility, and they go over the artists and you can see all their Instagrams if you wanted to. You can see each of my stylists' work on their page through the website. And so then, they wind up on Instagram from it because if you're on your phone, which you obviously are, it has call us, email us, Instagram us right at the bottom of every page. And so they get on our Instagram. We put our reviews there. We have more of our work. We have more team culture. We have our ethics there. You have your story highlights that show your stylists and what they love doing. So you're really curating this path of credibility that ensures that that customer is going to book with you. because I talk to a lot of bigger marketing companies that don't see a return on Google for under $2,500 a month investment, and it's because they're just throwing money at it and they're not doing the credibility portion. And if you remember what I said in the beginning, money is a 5 to Google, credibility is a 7 to a 10. So I pay for our Google advertisements to go 5 miles from the salon. Our credibility makes them go 12 miles from the salon. And it's really using, because opposed to big businesses that use Google and have to pay that money, they don't have the benefit that we have as small businesses, which is a bunch of people who really like us and want to see us succeed. Because if a Target's shut down, we're all going to cheer a little bit inside. But like if our local business and our local business that has modern ethics that support the same values as we have, COVID taught us that we'll be there to support them and make sure that they survive. So that's why it's so important. Like with our SEO, our ethics are part of it. Gender affirming, queer, inclusive is part of it. So you search for gender affirming and queer haircut, anything like that, you're going to find me first. And whatever that means to you, whatever more marginalized community or whatever ethics that you want to support, put that into your SEO game, because like I said, COVID taught us people shop with their heart and they support with their heart. And if you can become part of their family and part of their culture, they'll be with you forever and they'll help you gain new guests.
I love that so much. And it's also about nurturing those, like you're nurturing your Google reviews, you're nurturing those things. Something that I want to talk, because this is something you did tell me before we joined, is this wonderful promotion that you are doing with the scalp spa and sound bowls, and it makes me want to come join. But you talked about promotions because if new clients are coming to you, or even existing clients, because they both are going back to your website and your social media after they leave their service because they're wanting to see their picture or their review on your pages, right? So they're going to look for that. And then they're also finding some upcoming promotions like this one that you have coming up. So can you tell everybody about it? And then also, how do you share promotion so that these new clients that are looking can find you or want to be a part of this wonderful experience?
I love this. So this is something I'm have been pushing more into recently, and it's the loyalty points through Aura. So we turn loyalty points on, and we're, like I said, a beta, and Aveda has their Aveda Plus rewards. So we're advertising it as very specifically 20% more on your return than Aveda Plus rewards. So you trade in 5,000 Aveda points for a $25 gift card. You could trade in 500 Apotheca points for a $30 gift card. So we're still getting that relationship, and then we're matching all of the Aveda Plus rewards marketing that they send out, in addition to using those loyalty points to push our own marketing. So we just had a launch last week of a pre-shampoo treatment. Guests get double points on their entire retail purchase if they buy this one product. We're going to be, Aveda is having their 20% off, 25% off sale the 2nd through the 15th. We're advertising this to our customers as our top, as a sale to celebrate our top 200 award. And so with that, we're giving 25% off and 25% bonus cash, or essentially 25% off $300 gift cards. And we're turning loyalty points on for gift cards during that time period, so that it incentivizes it even further. Something I have planned for the summer is really going into series with blowout series and awarding loyalty points to blowout series. So you're getting that double benefit to it. So it's really, that's been a really fun new one for me, is how we leverage these loyalty points, and how you kind of I think we all know as salon owners, you get the best reaction with your staff from gamifying anything. Like right now, I really want to replace my chairs, and you know how we replace our chairs? Them hitting $22 retail per client ticket for a month is how they get a new chair. And so instead of me coming out of my pocket $10,000, next week when the first 2 of them get their chair, I bet you the next month 3 more of them get their chair out of Envy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Stefan, you are using a lot of, and maybe what sort of advice would you have for any salon owners that are listening? Because what you're doing is really leaning into the tools that you have in front of you, right? Like it's not like you're outsourcing new stuff, like loyalty points, the series memberships, like your social buddy, which is your driving your reviews in Google. Like those are things that you have already. So like what type of advice would you have for salon owners that maybe don't have any of this stuff going and are just looking to start something or somewhere? Like, what would you say to them?
So, first and foremost, whenever a salon owner comes to you and whenever somebody's coming for coaching, they're in a place, nobody gets to a place of asking for help from being like all flowers and roses and honeybees. It's from a place of, oh shit, how do I stop the bleeding? And how we stop the bleeding is to get more money in the chair today, more hair in our chair. So if you take nothing else from this, print a QR code that looks really nice, get some 4x6 frames, and start asking for reviews and put them around the salon. Because I will tell you, our first month we got 40 reviews, and we saw our new guest count go from 75 to 135. So what could you do? Say you're averaging $100 for your service or total guest ticket. What could you do with an extra, what is that, $3,500? Start small, because at this point I'm investing $500 to $650 a month into Google and generating $43,000 a month in profit off Google. So, and it took me 2 years to get here, but like I barely look at my AI tools to make me this money anymore. And if anybody's done guerrilla marketing, it's really hard. And I was talking to a salon owner, or not a salon owner, but a business owner recently who told me they were doing mailers and they were millennial. And I just like was so confused. And I was like, you check that? If it's not Amazon? Like, and so just like make your life easier, get the rewards you want. And then once we have more people coming into the chair, let's look at leveling up that experience. Let's look at what we can do to add value to your service. And then let's look at leveling up our prices or going all inclusive. But we're going to lose way more people going all inclusive and raising price point if the value isn't there. But if that heartfelt ethics, community, plus value of the service, spa-like relaxation is there, they'll pay anything you want. And then the last thing you touched on was our head spa sound bath. I also am a yoga teacher and a sound healer. And so this has been a new one for me. So Sundays and Tuesdays, I have a smaller staff. They're both kind of building days for me. And I found that having these events on those evenings has turned into quite the moneymaker for us. So usually we would do, now we're doing in our last 2 hours. We had one last night, an additional $1,000 in the last 2 hours of a Sunday, which is great for us. So we do ultimate hair and scalp treatment, which is our version of a head spa. It starts at the chair with some aromatherapy and nutriplenish treatment with a steam towel while you get a neck and shoulder massage. And then they move to the shampoo bowl and we do some aromatherapy, steam, cryotherapy, cooling eye treatment, hand massage, scalp treatment, bond building treatment. And so this is about a 45-minute experience. And for these events, I play my sound bowls and my ocean drums and all my sound healing things and over them. And we couple it with like we have the lights off and it really dim and candles lit everywhere. And it's turned into this really amazing experience for our customers that they love. It's turned into this really amazing experience for my team where they're fighting each other to work it because we only do 4 people a month. And then it's turned into this really amazing retail selling experience because they're getting this insane pampering. And then we just basket those products up with everything from the skincare to the aroma that they chose. And we get them started with a cocktail. They have hot tea waiting on them when they get back to the chair for their blowout. And the next thing I want to start looking at is like some styling and makeup lesson things for Monday nights. So I really think having these once a month or even maybe bi-monthly, I definitely am looking at opening my second salon, and we'll be doing this there, and there'll be alternating weekends. But having things that are limited, they create FOMO. That's another thing with promotions is FOMO. You always want something more whenever there's a fear of missing out. The same with the travel samples for the reviews. It gives you some FOMO. So yeah, lean into that.
Sign me up for that scalp spa treatment. Like that.
I'm gonna be in your hotel room in Arizona. You're like, play the heart bowl.
Bring it with you. Give it the sound bowls and the drums. But that it's a very valid and good point that you bring that up, and that's why I really want to share it, because that part of the wellness of our industry is rapidly growing. So, like, if you as a salon owner can tap into that in any way, like we all know somebody now who's a yoga teacher or does sound bath or something in that pack, because it's growing so rapidly, and you are tapping into that and creating that promotion and that experience. And I can only imagine the reviews that you're getting off of that and creating more FOMO and more people wanting to come in, because maybe they come in for that one experience that you have, but then they become a regular returning guest for other services because of what they experienced.
I mean, yesterday, so our 4 spots yesterday, one of them was one of our clients' husbands that had never been to the salon before. And then another one was a second time guest, a Google guest who came in for a haircut and now is booking $160 head spa treatment for this. And they're like, definitely going to be back.
Absolutely. It's so amazing. Okay, I want to go. We have just a few minutes left. So thank you for sharing all that. I wanted to get through a couple questions. One of them is about negative reviews. And I think we touched on that a little bit. So, like, you're not avoiding them, you're actually proactively responding to them. And something that Stefan did say is those negative reviews in the responses, you're responding for your future guests, not just to that one angry client that just wants to be heard, because typically that's what they want, is they just want to be heard, and that's why they're leaving a review. So we kind of touched on that. Nicole had a question, and she said that she recently was told not to have the QR codes at the stylist stations or the checkout because it makes it uncomfortable or awkward for the client. So and that could be maybe how you're presenting it. So what are your thoughts on that?
I have definitely heard, and especially from your 50 plus generation, that they don't love being asked to leave a review everywhere they go. And they go, I just want to go to the dentist and not have to leave a review. And that's a very valid concern. Like I said, though, my ideal demographic is $100,000 childrenless millennials. So yes, it does happen. I have not, I think, it's a dime a dozen with that kind of thing, with somebody really being off put by it. And if so, just put it in their client note and like, no, not to ask them next time. But we have it at our cash wrap and checkout. And we don't do it at the stylist stations anymore. We definitely have before. I know Imaginal makes really great like mirror clings that you can get to go on there that has your little promotion and a little QR code that you can scan. But for me, I haven't had any challenges with it. We also have the little Zappy cards, which are just little tap to review things where you can just touch it with your phone. But those still, I put a little promo on the front that we laminate so it looks cute.
And also, I think for you specifically, making it part of the experience in the
Yeah.
salon. So it's not like a pressured sort of pressure cooker to like leave a review and that you're saying 100%. It's really about the experience. And maybe like you said, your providers are taking selfies and like you can go find it here. And here's where you can get a free product if you do leave us a review. So
and sometimes it could be coaching too, and just letting people know it's like, hey, this is how we get new business today. This is how business works.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. How do you get Google to not display negative reviews first on the list?
You push it down, and you push it down with positive content. So we recently got a shitty review, and this is probably 2 months ago actually. And so my stylist, without me having to tell them, actually all banded together, and by the end of the next day had gotten 12 5-star reviews. And so what they do is as soon as we get a bad review, they start messaging their friends, their family, their clients, and they get so many 5-star reviews that it's so far bled down that you don't see it. And so Google does post rank reviews based on credibility of the review and credibility of the person. So sometimes if people put a photo or post a lot, it's hard to get that review down. So you have to get people to put photos, and you have to find those gyms who post a lot or become that gym who posts a lot. I personally have a couple accounts that I interact quite often with on Google, every business I go to, so that I can update my reviews to have them go back to the top.
That's awesome. Okay, so we're at our end of our
I
hour.
know, I was trying to talk fast.
Yeah, but I do want to just share one, thank you for sharing all of these things for everybody again watching. And Stefan and his business, what he's done through his client journey and the experience that he's providing has increased his average revenue, beat the average benchmark by 13% from the industry average. His product sold is 40% higher than the average. And he's seen 22% more customers coming in his door than what the average salon of his size is doing. He's driving in hundreds of positive Google reviews. Just in February, he had 35-star reviews that were coming in. So all through the experience that he's providing to his salon or to his customers and the journey that they're going through. And it really feels more like passion over profits, right? Like you're leading with a passion versus with the dollar, and that passion is delivering the revenue for you. And then Stefan, I just want to give you a second to share, because what you have done in your salon is amazing. And you are also helping other salon owners to be able to achieve some of these great things. So tell people how they can find you if they would like to learn more about what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. So Uplift, because I want you all uplift yourselves, is my company. So it's a Uplift Sustainable Salon Solutions. The website is Uplift Sustainable Salon. You can scan this QR code if you're not on your phone. If you are on your phone, screenshot it, and then you'll have the website to type in.
Awesome.
But this is a little overview. It shows some of our successes. You're going to have some more before we go to data driven next month, some little 2-minute tutorials being added. So look out for those. But it's coaching. And so no matter what we do, first month will always be organic review campaigns. So if you love what you heard and you go, I want him to hold my hand going through the first month of getting this going, that is what we do first month. And in that, we're going to talk about what is most important for you for next steps. And then we'll customize paths based on that. I have some things that we talk about in that discovery call, which you can sign up for on here, that have the potential outcomes of the next ones. But it's just really first things first, getting more hair in your chair.
Awesome. All right. So scan the QR code, get connected with Stefan, and you can also connect with him while he's talking about data-driven metrics at Data-Driven event next month at, what is this, April 28th, 7 and 28. And Scott still will be there. So if you have more questions for him then, and you're going to be at Data-Driven, then can find us. Otherwise, Stefan, thank you for sharing all of this. This was super insightful, and I know that there's so many things that people are going to take away. So the recording will go out and you will be able to go back. But also if you have other questions, you can reach out to us at Aura or scan Stefan's QR code and reach out to him directly.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Everybody back tomorrow for another session. We're going to be with Cindy from Catherine Drew Salon talking about more metrics. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Thank you, Stefan, so much.
Bye, y'all. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.